just gonna let y'all know in advance, this is gonna be a real short night. It's all good. It's interesting that he started off with that scripture because we have the letter L, but I didn't know that he was going to choose love. Also, I didn't know that he was going to choose the scripture. But before I get into the scripture or talking, I would like for us to stand and pray. Heavenly Father, God, we just thank you once again for allowing your people of Israel, to be in this festival time of Sukkot, this appointed time. We thank you for just allowing us even to be here at this very present moment, to be able to give you honor, to give you praise. Father, as we're here, we just pray that you would be in our midst, that you would lead and guide everything that is said, every word that comes out of my mouth. Father, we just want, at the end of the day, we want your will to be done. As we're focusing on just being a whole disciple, we know that love is truly at the center of everything when it comes to you and when it comes to us as humanity, us as disciples in Yahshua. So we just pray that we would just expound more on your word tonight, and that you would give us more understanding. In Yeshua's name we pray. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay. So it will be short, it will be sweet, but hopefully it will be edifying, okay? All right. So, for those who may or may not know me, I'm Shamar, also known as Desmond. So yes, the topic that we're dealing on is love, and of course, as Yahshua said in that particular scripture in Corinthians, yes, being well-versed in Hebrew is great. Yes, knowing scripture and memorize it and these various different things are great, but it really doesn't have substance if love isn't connected to it. For example, you ever ate food and then said to yourself, man, there's something missing, right? What was missing? There was love, right? So you can have situations where you can do things for people, but guess what? It may not even have love connected to it, right? And so, being that we're on this topic of love, I thought that I would, because I'm very big into looking at definitions of words, whether it be English or Hebrew, and I wanted to see what the English dictionary had to say about love, and I found it to be very interesting when you kind of compare languages and how we in this side of the world looks at things compared to how our ancestors over in the East looked at things. So love, it says in the dictionary, an intense feeling of deep affection. Isn't that great? And it also says a feeling, to feel a deep romantic or sexual attachment to someone. Man, that's what love is, right? And in having conversations with different people, I think it would be wrong for us as believers in Yeshua to take our Western mindset and our Western concepts and definitions and then insert them into the scriptures. Yeah. Because if love is something that really, like your salvation really is like, it fringes on that. So if we're not able to understand love, then when it comes to like our salvation, we can pretty much just throw that out the window, right? And so, of course, we all know that there is more to love than just a fuzzy, warm feeling that you get on your insides, right? It's much more to it. Parents love their children, and I believe when you have to get up and work and provide and do these things for them, I don't think you always feel warm and fuzzy when you do it, right? or when you have to correct your child, or when you have to. No, it's not a warm and fuzzy feeling. Don't get me wrong, there are emotions and feelings that that we attach to these things, and yes, they're good, but that isn't necessarily what love is. Okay? And so in John chapter 13, verse 34 to 35, Yahshua says this, and he says, "A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye love one to another." And so right there, Yahshua is saying, like, he's not saying, like, by this, it could be anything, by how well you know the word, by how well you can, like, quote it and flip it, your fringes, or... Nah, he said how you love one another. And I find that to be very interesting, because oftentimes we think that this concept, or even what Yahshua said, was a new concept that came in the New Testament. But when we look all the way from the beginning, Father was always talking about love, right? So if we let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 6. We're familiar with the Shema, right? And so in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4, Yah speaking, it says, "Hear, O Israel, O Yah, our El is one, and thou shalt love Yah, thy El, with all of thine heart, and with all of thy soul, and with all of your might." Right?
Yes.
So before you even... Sometimes people think, all right, you keep the commandments, then comes love. It's like, no, you have to love the Father,
yes,
and this will compel you to his commandments.
Yes, yes.
Right? It starts with love. If love isn't there, that's not going to hold.
That's right.
Okay? And so what I would like to do, normally what I do is I have like a board set up, so hopefully you guys can kind of get the pictures in your head. So in Hebrew, the word for love is ahav. Can we say ahav? Ahav. Ahav, okay? So it's spelled A-H-A-V, but of course in Hebrew it's not necessarily English letters. It's the aleph, it's the A, and it's the Hebrew letter bet. And what I find to be interesting with these, am I correct, Kathy?
Yes.
Okay. And what I find to be correct with Hebrew, when you put the letters together, it gives you a complete picture, and it's very beautiful. Now with the aleph always represented an ox head, and when you think about ox head, it's something that's strong, it's something that stands, it's firm. The Hebrew letter Hey was a representation of a man with his hands raised, and what that symbolized was, it can mean revelation, it can mean something that you're beholding. And the letter Bet was a picture of a tent plan. So say you have someone who builds houses, they're like an architect. Pretty much it was like a floor plan for a house. And when you add these letters up and when you put them together to see what they say, essentially you have something that's strong, something that's revealing something, and then you have a home, a house, right? And so when we think about, okay, we have what in John 3:16 it says, "For Yah so loved the world that he gave his only." We know it, but when we think about what love really does, it brings us. It's supposed to bring us back into covenant relationship with the Father, right? Mm-hmm. If it's true love.
Yes.
And so when we look at in the Hebrew, it's saying that love is something that's connected directly to the Father's house, right? It's not necessarily a warm feeling. It's everything pointed in the direction of the kingdom. That is love. So whether it's you being corrected, whether it's us feeling great and it's That's love. It points in the direction of love. You guys following me?
Yes.
And so in Matthew, we'll go over to, there was oftentimes, right? Yahshua was, nah, it's over now because I already broke it down. Unless you guys want to see it, I don't know. You guys want to see it?
Why not?
Or do you understand? Or, yes? Alright. That they want to see it? People say yes. Alright.
The people.
Alright, you gotta go with the people say. Alright. So we'll break down the letters. Even though I kind of just broke them down, but I'm assuming that everyone here is visual, and I'm hoping that what I said, just no one understood me. I'm joking. All right. So you have a hive. Okay. And so the first letter in Hebrew, it kind of goes something like an ox head. The next letter is kind of like a man, and he has his hands raised. Am I correct, Kevin? And then the last letter, huh?
To the right or left?
Oh, she's not here. She's like my Hebrew supporter. Yes. Normally I come to her and then she'll come to me. Right. So we have.
It's working. Just right there.
This right here is what we would call pictographic Hebrew or Paleo Hebrew. Now, unlike the other letters, I'll do the modern Hebrew letters on top of them. So you have, that's the Aleph, then you have Hey, and then you have the Beit, okay? This way? Okay, we'll do that. Does everyone see? Okay, cool. And so this right here is a picture. It's the best that I can do of an ox head. And so when you think about ox, what do you think about? You think about something that's strong. What else do you think about? Sacrifice? Ooh, that's good. Sacrifice. Huh? Sacred. Ooh. Sacred. Is that Jess? Who else could it be? Okay. Oh, I told him that you're on Hebrew support. Okay. All right. So we strong sacrifice. What else?
Fierce.
Fierce. I don't know if I can really spell that. Fierce. F-I. Except accuracy. Got it. Okay. Fierce. All right. Hopefully no more words that require. What else can we think about? That's good. Lead like the head. Okay. Okay. Alright. So that's decent. So this is supposed to be like a man with his hands raised. If you saw someone in the street and they had their hands raised, surrender. Like this. Surrender.
Put the gun down.
I'm not gonna write that down. Put that down. Well, yes. Huh? Praise. Okay. Praise. Okay, what else? Vulnerable. That vulnerable. VL, right? Vulnerable. Hey, all right. Yes. Huh? Worship. Okay. We'll kind of put that on with praise. We'll put that on there.
Letting go.
Letting go. Surrender.
You be waving. Attention.
That's what I was really looking for. Attention. Okay. And when you guys think of a blueprint, what do you think about? Huh? A building? Building.
Foundation.
Someone said foundation. Foundation. Plan. Okay. First. Okay. Like FIRST. First.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Knowledge. Okay. Now remember that this was a 10th floor plan, so this was really like someone's home. Let's not necessarily think like building, because they weren't like, I mean, they did have buildings, let me not say that, but this was like a floor plan of someone's home where people lived.
Safety.
Stability. So I heard stability. Stability, shelter. I don't have the best handwriting, but.
Come look at it.
Stability, shelter, someone said safety. Safety. Serenity. We'll put shalom there. That's cool. As we Hebrews. Comfort.
I like recording all things because you can't really see them. That's still good though. Like, yeah, but
For
see the letters.
correction. I can't even fit that there. Okay. I think we have enough things to go off of. All right, so we have something that is strong. We also have something that's lead, it's fierce. We have sacrifice. We have surrender, praise, worship, vulnerable. We have attention. For the 10th floor plan, we have correction, shalom, safety, building, foundation, plan, comfort, first, knowledge, stability, shelter. So when we think about love, this is what it is really trying to do. Or not trying to do, this is what love is. It is something that's strong. It's something that's firm. Love is also a sacrifice. It leads us. It brings us. It's supposed to get our attention. It's supposed to leave us somewhat vulnerable, right? Or vulnerable. And ultimately, it brings us to here. This is where it's supposed to bring us. A place of correction, a place of shalom, safety, building, foundation, somewhere where there's a plan, somewhere that has knowledge, somewhere that has stability, a place that has shelter. That's Yah's love, right? And so the world will have us believe that when we love people that we just kind of ignore things and don't really try to bring them to a restored place. But this is all about restoration and making sure that we stay inside the safe haven, right? That's what God's love is. And so as disciples of Yahshua, I'm going to go ahead and read the scripture that we started off with, that our brother Joshua started off with. Though I speak with tongues of men and of angels and have not love, I am become as a sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal. So if I say everything that I want to say and have to say, if it's not bringing people to this, then what good really is it? And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I remove mountains and have not love, I am nothing. Because ultimately, if we truly have love, we're trying to bring people into the knowledge of Yahshua HaMashiach, not about how great we are and how well we can do things, but it has to bring people to the knowledge of Yahshua. Okay? And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not love, it profit me nothing. So man, you telling me I can do all these things and feed people with love? Where is it bringing them to? Love suffereth long and is kind. Love envieth not. Right? Because of course we don't envy each other in the body of Yahshua because we love one another. Envieth not, love vaunteth not itself, it is not puffed up, does not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, it is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Love never faileth, because it comes from Yah. It can't fail us. Whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I spake as a child, I spake when I was a child, I spake as a child. I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know, in part, but then shall I know, even also I am known. And now abide faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love. Hallelujah.